Now that we're a little more familiar with some of the common aspects of physical infrastructure, let's move on to network services. A network service that's commonly used in an organization is a file transfer service. So, why would you want to have a service dedicated to file transfer? Well, sure, you could probably carry around a flash drive and copy files to each machine you work on, or even use the remote copy tools we learned in the last course. Or you could centrally store your files and transfer files from one computer to another using the internet. There are a few different file transfer protocol services that are used today. Let's take a quick rundown of what's out there and what they do. FTP. In the second course of this program, the bits and bytes of computer networking, we mentioned FTP, aka the file transfer protocol. It's a legacy way to transfer files from one computer to another over the internet, and it's still in use today. It's not a super secure way to transfer data because it doesn't handle data encryption. The FTP service works much like our SSH service. Clients that want to access an FTP server have to install an FTP client. On the FTP server, we install the software that allows us to share information located in a directory on that server. FTP is primarily used today to share web content. If you use a website host provider, you might see that they have an FTP connection already available for use, so they can easily copy files to and from your website. SFTP is a secure version of FTP, so it makes sense to choose this option over FTP. During this SFTP process, data is sent through SSH and is encrypted. TFTP stands for Trivial FTP. It's a simpler way to transfer files than using FTP. TFTP doesn't require user authentication like FTP, so any files that you store here should be generic and not need to be secure. A popular use of TFTP is to host installation files. One method of booting a computer that we haven't discussed yet is PXE or PXE boot, which stands for pre-boot execution. This allows you to boot into a software that's available over the network. A common use case for organizations that want to install software over a network is to keep operating system installation files on a TFTP server. That way, when you perform a network boot, you can be automatically launched into the installer. This is a lot more efficient than having to carry around a USB with an operating system image. You can learn more about PXE boot in the next reading. Depending on your usage of file transferring services, you might want to weigh the option we mentioned. We encourage you to read about popular FTP clients used in the supplemental reading. If you just want to share files between your computers in a secure way and have a nice directory where you can access all the shared files instead of transferring them to your machine, you'll want to look at network file storage services instead. We'll discuss those in an upcoming module.